Alyce, and welcome to my March episode of my Hook a Duck TBR game. So, in February, we haven't actually managed to finish all of the books that were on our TBR, but we have finished House of Earth and Blood. I am 3/4 of the way through Nightblood, and we're planning on reading The Love Hypothesis and Beasts of Prey, like starting them over the next few days. So if I can finish Nightblood and start P.S. I Like You by Casey West, which should be feasible because I've only got about 100 pages of Nightblood left and I've been reading that in big chunks. And obviously if Sean and I can do, like, at least start both Beasts of Prey and The Love Hypothesis when we finish House of Sky and Breath, we'll be having a good time. So we're not going to do a punishment pick this month because it is looking very likely that even if we haven't finished them all by the end of the month, we will have at least started them because we've still got 4 or 5 days left in February and I've got another day off for us to read all the way through as well. So feeling a lot better. This month we have finished House of Earth and Blood. We have squeezed in House of Sky and Breath even though we weren't supposed to be reading it. We've finished The Shadow Rising by Robert Jordan and I've managed to finish A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas as well. So it might be safe to say that the slump is done and I am feeling excited about reading again. I'm feeling excited about playing this TBR game again. It is good, it is cleansing. It's only taken me like 6 to 8 months to get back to this state. Thank you so much for sticking with me. And I hope that we're going to have some fun with this episode of Hook a Duck. So, without further ado, let me pass you over to Alyce from about 15 minutes ago so she can hook some ducks. Hello, it is time for March's Hook a Duck. So I'm going to do some shiffily shuffling of my fancy schmancy cards and we're going to see what ducks we pick out this month. So we're going to pick 4 ducks again because we're still not reading all that much. And duck number 1 is bloop, 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 bloop. An orange duck. And this is a sci-fi duck. And that sci-fi prompt is highest rated. Ooh. So the first duck we picked out for March is a sci-fi duck. And this was a sci-fi highest rated. I have no idea what this is going to be, so I've got my blog phone here and I'm going to go on Goodreads and we're going to see what comes up as the highest rated sci-fi book on my TBR. I don't have a lot of sci-fi books on my Goodreads TBR, so it might be interesting to see how long we have to scroll for, but I'm looking forward to it and I'm hoping that it will be an enjoyable one. So we start off with Timberdark by Darren Charlton, which isn't out yet and isn't sci-fi. The third book in the Dreamer trilogy, which isn't out yet and isn't sci-fi. Bloodmarked, which is fantasy. The Way of Kings, which is fantasy. Stealing Infinity by Alison Knoll, which I think is fantasy, but I don't actually own that one. Time Travelling. Is that actually out now? No, that's not out until June. Okay, so not Stealing Infinity either. Oh no. The Final Empire is fantasy, not sci-fi. Do I be cheeky? Yes, fuck it, I'm being cheeky. The highest rated sci-fi book on my Goodreads Want to Read list is Lightbringer by P.S. Brown. Is Lightbringer out yet? No. Has Lightbringer even been officially announced? No. Do I have a copy? No. But I do need to reread Morningstar because I'm doing a reread with a friend and he's read the first 3 and I've only read the first 2. And I need to catch up before we move on to book 4. So, it's cheating. But if I don't go with that, I can't even see another sci-fi book on here. And that is just too tempting for me because I do really need to catch up with that. There is no other sci-fi on here. It's all just fantasy. yeah, it looks like I'm reading Morningstar by Pierce Brown, which is not a problem. I love Morningstar. It is the third book in the original Red Rising trilogy, and I loved all of the books in that series. It's my favourite series of all time, which is why I'm rereading it for like the third or fourth time. And I'm looking forward to moving on to Iron Gold, because I've actually only read Iron Gold and Dark Age once each, so this will be my first rereads of those. So, time to reread Morningstar. Back to Alyce for our second duck. Duck number 2 is, oh god, stuck on the loop, a blue duck, and a blue duck is an adult duck, and that adult prompt is a romance book. Why couldn't I have picked that out last month for Valentine's Day, damn it? And duck number 2 is an adult duck, and this was the romance prompt. So I'm actually going to roll over the Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. So Sean and I will start that later this month, and then we will finish it off next month, and that rolls it over nicely. So that fits well in this TBR, and it means that I won't be quite as panicky about trying to squeeze in as many books before the end of this month. Over to me for duck number 3. Duck number 3 is a silver duck, and a silver duck is a dealer's choice duck. I'm trying to keep these ones secret at the moment, but the dealer's choice prompt is a book that's been recently hauled. What a shame that I've nearly finished Hosab already. Oh no. And duck number 3 was a silver duck, and silver ducks are dealer's choice ducks, and this was a dealer's choice recently hauled book. So dealer's choice ducks, I've actually decided I'm going to start keeping kind of secret to see whether I can do any secret TBRs with them, so I'm not going to officially tell you what I'm reading for this one, because then also if I want to read something else then I can. But also, I only hauled The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood in January, and the book I'm about to mention is also one that I've recently hauled. So, just by getting the rest of my reading done this month, I'm ticking this duck off. I'm just going to see whether I fancy anything else to tick this one off as well. Let's pass it on to Alyce for our 4th duck. And our 4th and final duck of the March hooker duck is... Oh no, we have to do another 2 because we knocked one over, and we have to pick an extra one if we knock one over. So we're doing 5. Number 4 is a yellow duck, and a yellow duck is a fantasy duck. And this fantasy prompt is released this year. Ooh. And this is where I'm getting cheeky and I'm doing some doubling up, because our 4th duck is a fantasy duck, and it is a fantasy duck that is newly released this year. I haven't hauled many fantasy books that have been released this year apart from Illumicrate books, and I'm not really feeling like reading any of those at the moment. So I'm actually going to pair this up with our next prompt. So I guess you'll have to see what duck I hook next. And hopefully our last duck for this month, if I can resist knocking over any more. Oh no. Here we go. Duck number 5 is a pink duck, which is a middle grade duck. And this middle grade prompt is a pretty cover. Aww. And yes, that's right, I hauled a middle grade duck, and the middle grade prompt was a pretty cover. What's a book that I have hauled this year that is recently released and fantasy and middle grade and has a pretty cover? It is the middle grade fantasy book A Storm of Sisters by Michelle Harrison. I actually forgot this was coming out. I love the cover designs on all of the A Pinch of Magic books, so this is definitely a stunning cover. It even has a stunning back as well, and stunning sprayed pages. I forgot this was coming out, and then I had a parcel at Woolstones. I was like, what's that? And I opened it up, and I was so excited all over again, because I thought that the Pinch of Magic series was only going to be a trilogy. The 3rd book came out. I was gutted that it was over. I wanted Michelle Harrison to write more of them, and then she has, and I get to read them, and I'm excited. And this is fantasy, It's only come out in 2021 and it's beautiful. So it works and I get to read it this month. So I'm very, very happy to squeeze this onto my TBR. And yes, I'm kind of cheating by doubling up a duck, but I got an extra duck this month. So it's fine. It's fine. I'm technically only reading 3 books. And one of those is a reread and one of those is like a super short middle grade. So we're looking good. We're looking like we might actually be able to catch up on one of the books that we missed earlier in the year. The Way of Kings. I mean, if I want to start another Chunky Boy series while still being in the middle of the Wheel of Time and still not being up to date on A Court of Thorns and Roses. But we'll see how it goes. I am feeling optimistic. I am getting excited about reading again, and I'm getting excited about doing the channel again. So that is all really, really positive stuff, and it's nice to feel that way. If you are excited about your reading month for March, if you've got any fun reading plans, please let me know down in the comments. If you have read any of the books that I've mentioned today and have any recommendations, or if you want to do any kind of buddy reads on any of them, then please hit me up for that, because that sounds like a lot of fun. If you like this video, please like it, and if you'd like to subscribe, we'd be super duper grateful. We post a new episode of Hook a Duck every single month, apart from November, because we were slumping terribly and we didn't bother. So, hopefully, we will continue to post Hook a Duck for you, because the slump is gone! I think. Touch wood, touch wood, touch wood. But I'm feeling better. It's nice. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye! What is wrong with me?